Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will introduce to you 5 games that, if you love legendary ninjas, you cannot ignore. Check it out now! Lost Soul Aside is an action game with hack-and-slash combat, open-world exploration, and a story inspired by Final Fantasy XV. The game is made by Ulti-Zero Games, a Chinese studio that started as a one-man project and is published by Sony for PlayStation and PC. The game follows Kazair, a former soldier with a crystal sword that can change into different weapons and creatures. Kazair is chased by a mysterious organization that wants his sword, which is linked to a dragon named Arena. He faces friends and foes, secrets, and mysteries on his journey. The gameplay of Lost Soul Aside is fast, smooth, and dazzling. Kazair can switch weapons and styles, use powerful combos and moves, and use the arena to fight or travel. The game has a dynamic camera and stunning visuals and animations. The game has a large and varied open world with landscapes, ruins, cities, and secrets, offering a rich and immersive experience for action and RPG fans. Lost Souls Aside is one of the most anticipated games of 2023. It shows the passion and talent of Ulti-Zero Games and the support of Sony and the PlayStation China Hero Project. The game is a fantasy for action fans, and we are eager to play it next year. Project DT is a sci-fi action game developed by the Chinese studio Digital Sky. The game features a girl who is caught in a conflict between humans and machines and must use her skills and abilities to survive. The game is inspired by high-speed action games like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and showcases impressive visuals and animations. The game's protagonist is a mysterious girl who doesn't know if she is human or a machine. She has a special device on her arm that allows her to transform into different forms and weapons, such as a sword, a gun, or a whip. She can also use her device to hack into enemies and objects and summon a giant mech to assist her in combat. The game's setting is a futuristic world where humans and machines are at war. The game features various locations, such as cities, factories, deserts, and forests, where the girl will encounter different enemies and challenges. The game promises to offer a thrilling and immersive experience that will appeal to fans of sci-fi and action games alike. Enenra is a third-person hack-and-slash game set in future Japan, developed by Zahid Ali Gilani and published by Strive Studios. The game features a protagonist who can manipulate time and teleport, as well as summon a giant mech to fight against various enemies in a cyberpunk world. The game's story revolves around a traitor who is hunted by his former friends, family, and mentors, who are all part of a secret organization that deals with supernatural threats. The protagonist has a device on his arm that allows him to use time manipulation powers such as teleportation, stasis swords, and slow motion. He can also use his device to hack into enemies and objects and to call upon a mech named Enenra, which is composed of smoke and darkness. The game's gameplay is fast-paced and flashy, inspired by games like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. The protagonist can switch between different weapons and styles, use powerful combos and moves, and use Enenra to assist him in combat or to traverse the environment. The game has a dynamic camera system that adapts to the action and showcases stunning visuals and animations. The game also has a large and diverse open world that can be explored on foot or on horseback. The world has beautiful landscapes, ancient ruins, futuristic cities, and hidden secrets. The game promises to offer a thrilling and immersive experience that will appeal to fans of sci-fi and action games alike.
I will murder everyone! Dropship to disposal team. Status report. What's going on?
Where Winds Meet is an open-world action-adventure RPG set in ancient China, developed by Everstone Studio and published by NetEase Games. The game lets players create their own character and choose their own path in a world of war and chaos. The game features a dynamic combat system, a rich story, and a vast world to explore. The game's story is set at the end of the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms period, before the rise of the Song Dynasty. The player is a wandering swordsman who must survive in a turbulent era where factions vie for power and influence. The player can interact with various characters, join different factions, and influence the course of history. The game promises to offer a high degree of freedom and multiple endings. The game's gameplay is fast-paced and fluid, inspired by games like Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima. The player can use different weapons, skills, and items to fight against enemies and bosses. The player can also use stealth, diplomacy, or deception to avoid or resolve conflicts. The game has a realistic physics system that affects combat and the environment. The game also has a large and diverse open world that can be explored on foot, horseback, or by boat. The world has beautiful landscapes, historical landmarks, cultural relics, and hidden secrets. The game boasts stunning visuals and animations powered by Unreal Engine 5. Where Winds Meet is one of the most anticipated games from China and showcases the talent and vision of Everstone Studio. Code to Yong is a fantasy action game based on the world created in the novels of well-known wuxia writer Yong. This open-world game allows players to freely explore the vast and grand world of martial arts, featuring the legendary heroes of Yong's pugilistic world. The game is developed by Lightspeed Studios, a subsidiary of Tencent Games, and is the first game to use Unreal Engine 5, promising stunning graphics and realistic physics. The game has not announced its platforms or release date yet, but it is expected to launch globally in the near future. The trailer showed some impressive scenes of ancient China, such as the Shaolin Temple, the Peach Blossom Island, and the Mount Hua sect. The combat looked fluid and dynamic, with different styles and weapons to choose from. The characters looked faithful to their original descriptions, and I recognized some familiar faces like Zhang Wuji, Wu Jing, and Huang Rong. The game seems to capture the essence and spirit of Yong's stories, which are full of adventure, romance, intrigue, and humor. I hope that the game will deliver on its promise of being an immersive and interactive experience where players can create their own stories and choices in the rich and diverse world of wuxia. I also hope that the game will respect the source material and avoid any unnecessary changes or additions that might ruin the original plot or characters. I look forward to playing this game and seeing how it will honor the legacy of Yong, one of the greatest writers of Chinese literature.